Okay, I'm live now. This is tricky, seriously. Anyway, I wanted to do this video. I um was supposed to do this video last week, and I'm looking in my notes and it's saying I haven't done it, so I'm gonna do it now. So some of the hi, Moise Picard. Bonjour, bonsoir, bonne nuit. Well, it's almost nighttime anyway. But yeah, today I'm going to talk about. Oh, yes, I do. Je parle un petit peu français. Je prends 6 ans, non, 7 ans. Euh, 7 ans, 8 ans, 9 ans, 9 ans, sorry, et 10 ans. Oh, I'm a Scorpio. Yeah. I'm just doing a video. Maybe I should do this video actually. Well, I'm gonna try it this way at least. Um, I'm I'm just talking about basically something a comment I got on YouTube on my comments just like last week, basically. And that's cool that you're a Virgo. I'm a Scorpio. But some of the different like subscribers that I've had thought because I have a different platform, I guess you could say, I don't specifically belong to any category. Like I don't really belong to divestors or um, really the manosphere or really I don't even fit with like people with colorism. I talk a lot on topics to do with colorism and things of that nature, you know. And I still don't even fit that message completely because I don't quite believe in all the different aspects of colorism. For one, I mean, like my mother's darker skinned, and she, for one, always said that it didn't exist, you know. So, I mean, like I have very different views, I guess, than most different aspects of Black YouTube. Anyhow, like I have gotten some of the people on here expecting me to, I guess, cater to some of the subscribers and to, I guess, have some kind of interest in certain people. And it's like, for me, I am not here to really, I'm not here really to pick sides, really. I'm not really here to do anything more than to just say what I think is true and what's my truth, you know. For me personally, I don't generally have much of an attraction to Black men, but I don't specifically bash Black men, for example. Like on a lot of other pages that I guess are interested in other types of men, I don't intend to bash them. To me, I don't intend to bash Black women either. I don't intend to bash anyone. It's not really the point of my platform. But a lot of people seem to expect me to kind of like change point of views on this. So just like because I don't agree with colorism, sometimes people expect me to be very pro black men. And I mean, I'm not really pro black men in the sense of how people like the manosphere, for example. But I'm not really against them either. I don't want the worst for them. They've really not done anything to me to have any negative opinion on them. Like a lot of the time, I notice it seems like people who have an issue with black men, it's usually because they did something with them, and it messed them up in their lives. They had children, they became single moms, or they may have had a relationship that was physically abusive, or they cheated, or different things happen. I have always been really careful with men in general, and that isn't specific to black men when I say that. Honestly, I've been really protective with like other races of men, like white, Hispanic, things of that nature. And generally, when I talk about my dating life, it's generally about, men of other races. And personally, for me, it's just always been that type of situation, mostly because of my environment. But that doesn't really place me, I guess, with the typical crowd who, I guess, chooses the type of dating that I have. With that said, it's specifically not anything that black men have done that I choose to date out, for example. And I don't have anything against black men as a whole. I don't like I honestly think black women who want to be with black men, all of the power to them. And honestly, other races of women, like with like white women, Hispanic women, Asian women, I mean, like if they want to be with black men too, good for them. It goes both ways. So I'm for all types of love, even same-sex love. I support anybody finding love. I mean, like honestly, I don't have anything against anyone finding love wherever that might be. I think where people go wrong mostly with my platform is that sometimes people think because I say that like darker skin looks very feminine and beautiful, that I think they perceive that to mean that I think, you know, I guess darker skinned black men are shouldn't be attracted to anyone else. And for me it's not quite like that. It's kind of like just like for me personally, I didn't grow up with them. I only grew up with dark skinned women. My male relatives were usually lighter skinned. So I generally was raised with that kind of ideal. And most honestly, not even that ideal. I generally grew up with white people. And so white men were kind of like the norm. And like browner men were kind of an acquired attraction over time. Mostly because of, I think because I moved into like a more Hispanic neighborhood by the time I was like 11. And my family, anyway, most of my, like I said before, most of my aunts were with lighter skinned men, and it was the same pairing. Like the woman was always darker than the man. And I notice in the black community, it's quite the opposite. So it kind of is antithetical to everything that I've grown up with. But that's just how it's always been. I don't know. most honestly, though, out of everything, like, I've always thought, like, darker skinned people were just ideal, generally, like, especially darker skinned women. And that's why I find it really weird when people think that I prefer, you know, white men because of their, like, because they're whiter or whatever. Because it's like everything I've always said about black women, dark skinned black women, is, I mean, like, obviously, I don't want to be white. I would rather be black and darker skinned. I mean, and from everything I've said, because I've said it in the past, like, some of the things I've been told about when I was, like, younger and with my mother. My mother's darker skinned, as I've said before, and people would say that, if I was darker, I'd be, more ideal. And honestly, like, if you look at makeup and different things like that, like fuller lips, high cheekbones, softer, rounder nose, almond-shaped eyes, those are things that are acquired with makeup and seen usually as more ideal, And for me, I mean, I just honestly find that that's more ideal as a woman. I've never wanted other types of features. But honestly, I never really felt like I fulfilled that with my mother's, like, features being a bit more, ethnic. And, and you end up feeling a bit like a knockoff, things of that nature. And, but I actually learned to kind of like accept myself over time of realizing, you're not going to be the ideal dark skinned, black beauty, basically, like a Lupito or a Brandy or, Serena Williams or like Gabrielle Union, You'll, and for me, I mean, like, I just kind of like accepted that over time. One last thing I wanted to address was I also noticed that it's weird because, like, I've said over and over again how I prefer more mixed race guys and things of that nature over, like, white guys. And generally, it's like weird because a lot of people get upset at this because it's like, what's weird to me is this. So when mixed race people prefer black men or black women, nobody has anything to say about it. But if you're mixed race and you prefer white over black, then you have something to say about that. And it's like, well, technically, you're not 100% white. You're not 100% black. If you, if you, for one, don't prefer either, is it really a shock? I mean, like, would it be a shock if someone who's 100% black doesn't prefer mixed or white? No, it would probably be pretty natural and expected. And so for me, it's like, I don't understand why that's not expected for someone who's 50% black. I never understood that. Personally, I never understood that for me. I mean, like, I've said this several times. For me, I generally prefer men that are like me, 50% black, around 50% black. If you look at the phenotype, like the types of guys I like Shemar Moore, had a hard time saying that name. Sorry. Um, guys like that, like, who look basically half and half. And to me, it's like I never understood why someone cannot prefer what they are when they're mixed. Like, black people can prefer what they are if they're 100% black. And people who are 100% white no one's shocked when they prefer someone who's 100% white. But if you are 50-50, you better prefer black and over white. And if you don't, then there's some problem. And I never understood that. Like, honestly, people actually act like you should prefer black over mixed. Like, I never understood that. Why must someone want to erase themselves? Like, can't someone actually want to have children that are exactly like themselves? Oh, my delivery's coming soon. Well, I'll have to end this live, but I had a few more notes I wanted to cover. Lastly, like I said, about changing my interests. Well, I would never be able to do that just off of, my content or whatever. I can't really pretend either side. Like, I can't pretend to be more like manosphere because it's like, for me, it's like, I don't really like dark skinned black men. I've never been attracted to them. So I can't make myself attracted to them. It's something like that comes naturally. You're either attracted or you're not. You can't really just turn it on or off. Some women can. I'm not one of those women who can. Honestly, I'm one of those women who can be attracted to like men that I don't want to be attracted to. And I've talked about that a bit. I've never talked about that in my videos because yeah, it's a little bit too embarrassing and a little bit too out there. But anyway, like I just don't get why a lot of people don't realize that, it's not something I'm trying to do out of malice or anger towards anyone, It's just a natural occurrence, Some people, you have to have a type, Some people don't, I guess. But I am one of those people that has a type and a certain type of preference. Honestly, if that preference and that type falls under someone who is black, I don't care. I just care about the end all package of the person, how they look, basically. You know, I'm a very visual type of person, and I can't really change that or control that. So, yeah, that's just a part of my sexuality. People don't really control their sexualities as far as who they're attracted to and who they're not. It's just how it is, basically. And honestly, I wouldn't change it. I mean, there's so many other ways people's sexuality can go wrong. This is definitely not that wrong, honestly. I mean, besides the part where you can't change who you're attracted to, and sometimes it's bad people, but that's a whole different story. Um, that's all I'm gonna say in this video. Oh, I wanted to also point out, I'll save that for another video, actually. Alright, thanks for listening. Alright, bye. Yeah, there's nobody on here. Alright, thank you, bye.